Hello there, Sagittarius. Thank you so much for stopping by for your monthly in-depth tarot video forecast. This forecast is for the month of August, and I am splitting this month up into two segments. So we're going to start with August the 1st through the 15th. After that, we're going to do the 16th through the 31st. Before I jump in right here, let me just remind everybody that we are still doing the contest where if you comment one time on my videos, you get entered into a drawing to win a prize. There are lots and lots of videos to comment on, so you can enter as many times as you want virtually. I mean, there's over 3,000 videos on this channel. I'm sure you can find something if you want to put in a whole bunch of entries. And so the prize for this is going to be either a goodie bag, you'll get to choose whoever wins, a goodie bag or a 30-minute reading with me via phone, Skype, or Zoom, or a set of 28 Reiki candles lit by me for you, or a long-distance Reiki session from me. So a few great prizes to choose from. And for right now, though, now that we've made that announcement, let's just jump right into your reading, Sagittarius. The first thing that I'm looking at does talk to me about your environment, and your environment is any place where you have energy or effort invested. Usually people tell me it's home, but sometimes it's come up as other places too, so you want to keep your mind open as far as where this might be, okay? But what I'm seeing for your environment, Sagittarius, is that you are having a lot of fun. You're doing the things that you want to do in the way that you want to do them. And I think you're doing this with somebody else or with multiple somebody else's. And I think with you doing this, you know, having this shared experience that's so positive, I think there may be a little bit of compromising going on so that everybody can all have a good time. But I just don't feel like there's anybody looking over your shoulder, setting deadlines, telling you how to do things, anything along those lines. Okay, next thing I have showing up here talks to me about your subconscious leanings, and it looks to me like you are something in your subconscious has to do with this idea of a gift. I think that you're expecting to receive a gift, or maybe you have already received a gift, and your subconscious is really working its way around that. So if you've already received the gift, your subconscious may be working on, oh my goodness, what can I give back in return to this person? Or, wow, isn't this amazing? What am I going to do with this gift? Or if you haven't received it yet, your subconscious may be working on how do you manifest a gift like that? Okay, so next thing that we're looking at talks to me about your learning style and also your communication style, Sagittarius. Funny, I think it's Scorpios that got this too. I think there are some things that you're trying to find out about, but you're having a really hard time getting a hold of the information that you're looking for at this point in time. Now, communication style, I think you're very direct. I think you're very to the point. I think there are certain things that you're communicating on that you just are not changing your stance on whatsoever. And I think that if somebody tries to get you to change your mind about those things, I think you're going to be really sharp and cutting in your response to that. You may be a little bit defensive, but I think it's um, mm, I think it's going to come off more offensively than defensively. Now, there is other communication going on besides that, though, too, and I think that that communication all centers around your feelings and your emotions during this time frame, Sagittarius. Next thing I'm looking at talks to me about work, and what I'm seeing here is that right now the work that you're doing, you're really enjoying, and I think that it is feeling quite satisfying and fulfilling to you, and you may even be referring other people to help them find a way to do the type of work that you do, whether you're referring them to work at your same company or whether you're referring for them, you know, to get into this in some other way, whatever that is, however you're doing that, I do think that you're feeling satisfied enough with what you're doing that you're telling other people about it and encouraging them to move towards something similar. Now, next thing I have coming up talks to me about where your personality is growing or expanding right now. I do think that there are things that you are studying or learning, different than where we saw about your learning style, This is different. This talks about where you're growing or expanding has to do with this studying or learning something new. So you may be putting in some energy and effort at digging out some new information or doing some research. And this may be something that is more formal than what we saw earlier. It feels that way to me. And it could be that whatever the formal learning is that you're doing, maybe that's tying in with what we saw before, and that you're having a hard time with really comprehending it and figuring out how to make it work where the rubber hits the road. Either way, putting energy and effort into learning something new and different. Next thing that we have coming up does talk to me about something that you stand for. You do have a choice in front of you, Sagittarius. And I think that whatever you choose here, this is going to be a good choice. There's no two ways about that. There just is not a bad option here, okay? So whatever you choose here is going to be a good thing. The only reason you're really having to make a choice is because there's some resource that you don't have enough of to be able to follow through on all of these options. So it may be that you don't have enough time or you don't have enough money, but some type of resource, okay? So this is the thing that you're standing up for, is this idea that you have a choice in front of you that you're going to have to make. And I think the person who confronts you about this, or who asks you to stand up for this, maybe even asks you to explain this, they're feeling like just by having this choice, actually, you're kind of getting on their nerves, to be honest with you. This really bugs them. I don't think they want you to have this choice. I think they want you to be able to focus more on them rather than have a choice of things that you could focus on. Okay, let's move on. Next thing we're looking at is the lesson or experience here. This does tell me that you are finding something to do. I feel like it is something to do more than a person here, Sagittarius. But you're finding something to do that you're really enjoying, that you're attracted to it, that once you start to do this thing, you're drawn to do this thing more and more and more. Sounds like video games, right? I hope we're not talking about video games. I hope it's something more productive than this. It seems to be something that makes you happy, so I'm kind of assuming not. It does look to me like at the same time you're interacting with somebody who is a female, at least for most of you, who is feeling kind of apathetic about things. She doesn't have a lot of energy to do the things that she used to be able to do, okay? And the other thing that's going on as you're pursuing whatever this is that you're attracted to is that you are finding some satisfaction in this. This feels good to you. This feels really good to you. And then once we get towards the 14th, 15th of the month, Sagittarius, we do see a lot of communication going back and forth between you and somebody else. And I feel like this may be about this new thing that you really are enjoying. This could be ordering new parts, or ordering, just ordering things online that have to do with this new love that you found. Yeah, or this could have to do, for some of you, this could simply have to do with just general communication going back and forth between other people. A lot of text messages, emails, maybe even some phone calls mixed in there. Okay, so that's the first half of the month for you, Sagittarius. I am going to take a break for my voice, and when I come back, we'll hit the second half of the month, and I will see you in a second. Thanks for being here. Thank you for sticking around, Sagittarius. Next, let's look at the 16th through the 31st of August for you. What I have showing up, first of all, for your environment, any place, remember that you have time and energy invested, is, or energy and effort is what I usually say. But anyway, what we see here with your environment is that things are out of balance around the environment. Things are not harmonious the way that they could be in the environment during this time frame. The next thing that I'm looking at does talk to me about your subconscious leanings, and it looks like there's some kind of truth that has come to the surface that was not always easily discernible. And as that has come to the surface, I think that has given you a little something to process, because your subconscious is really trying to wrap around the idea of all the implications that this truth brings to the table whenever it shows up. The next thing that I'm looking at here for you, Sagittarius, talks to me about learning style and also communication style. Some of you may be going someplace different to pick up some new information. Some of you may be traveling and picking up new information just because you are traveling. But for all of you, I don't know that you're necessarily what you would consider traveling. It may be that, when you're going someplace different for new information, maybe you're just going to the building next door for some type of class or something. I don't know. But it doesn't have to be that you're traveling for information per se, but I do feel like you're getting some new information in part because you are in a different place, or by being in a different place, or this class is being held in a different place from where your normal environment would be. And then next I'm looking at your communication style. And I do think that there is a lot going on around communication where there is appreciation being shown from you towards other people, but also from other people towards you as well. So, for most of you, this is going to be positive appreciation going back and forth. For some of you, I think you are going to be expressing uh, just how much trouble somebody has been for you. And I think that they will express express in the same vein of thought towards you as well. But for most of you, I see this as a positive expression back and forth, more of a mutual admiration society, if you will. That's a phrase my grandma used to use. Mutual admiration society. All right, next thing that we're looking at has to do with work. And Sagittarius, there's something going on that you are breaking free from at work, some type of limitation or restriction. For some of you, you may be walking away from work. Some of you may be retiring. Some of you may be just quitting and walking off the job. Some of you may be putting in your 2 weeks notice to quit, but I do feel like there's some kind of rules or regulations going on at work that you're breaking away from, or you're breaking away from work itself or from the company that you work for itself, something along those lines, okay? Next thing we have coming up, I do feel like this is you taking the action. For those of you who are worried because I said that, this is you taking the action to break away from this. I don't feel like this is somebody pushing you out the door or anything like that, okay? Now, Sagittarius, where is your personality growing or expanding during this time frame? Looks to me like you are either giving somebody a gift or and probably multiple people, or you're giving somebody a second chance, which I consider that to be a gift as well. So giving somebody some kind of gift, whether it's a second chance or a material gift, showing up here, probably giving more than one person a gift during this time frame. Now, next thing I'm looking at does talk to me about something that you're standing for or defending. And it looks to me like you are financially independent. In other words, if you are coupled up with somebody, I don't think that that you need their financial input for you to be able to make it. You're self-sufficient here. If you're not coupled up with somebody, then this is just talking about that, that you're self-sufficient financially and emotionally and otherwise, okay? And this is the thing that you stand for, which tells me that somebody has come to you and asked you to explain this for some reason, or maybe even confronted you about it. Maybe they don't want you to be single. Maybe they want you to be with them. But what happens is after you have a conversation with this other person, what they realize is that they are feeling some admiration and respect for you after you've had this conversation about why you're self-sufficient or how you're self-sufficient. Okay. Next thing that we're looking at, maybe they didn't realize you were self-sufficient. I don't know. Anyway, next thing that we're looking at talks to me about the lesson or experience of this time frame. And it comes up to me that you're really learning to do some self-care, some self-appreciation. You're learning to basically love yourself. You know, it seems like people say that an awful lot, but I don't think we can say that too much. I think most of us, most of the people I've met anyway, don't really understand how to love themselves. So it looks to me like you're coming into a new level of self-appreciation, of self-love, and that is allowing you to heal up from some of the heartaches that have happened in the past. I do think that you're taking some time away from home as you're doing some of this healing work, as you're doing some self-love. Maybe this trip is a way of showing your self-love, but you're taking some time away from home. Once we get to the end of the month, Sagittarius, it looks like there's some kind of payday or payoff that you were expecting to come in, like probably on the 30th or 31st, maybe even as early as the 29th. And I think what's going on is that it's taking longer to show up than what you had planned. So it's not showing up on the day that you expected it. I don't feel like it's not going to show up, but what I do feel like is that it's just going to take a little bit longer than what you had thought that it would, Sagittarius. So that's your month. Thank you very much for being here. I do appreciate that. I also appreciate all the subscribes, the likes, the shares, the comments. Don't forget to comment for your entry into the contest. And I also appreciate those of you who are ordering private readings and private Reiki sessions and Reiki candles from me. Thank you, and thank you again. It is because of you guys' full support that I'm able to do what I love to do for my living. So thank you very much. Everyone have a fantastic month, and I'll see you back here on the next video. Peace out.